You ever notice something strange about buying things? The moment you click, "Buy now," feels incredible, but a few days later, the excitement disappears. That expensive gadget you researched for hours somehow ends up forgotten in a drawer. The new clothes you were obsessed with online become just another thing in your closet. So here's the real question. Why does buying something feel better than actually owning it? The answer lies inside your brain, and it's called the dopamine trap. The dopamine misunderstanding. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure chemical, that when we get something we want, the brain releases dopamine. But neuroscience discovered something surprising. Dopamine doesn't spike when we get the reward. It spikes when we anticipate the reward. In other words, dopamine is the chemical of wanting, not having. This changes everything, because it means the brain loves the chase more than the prize. The shopping dopamine loop. Think about what happens when you decide to buy something. First, you discover the product. Then you start researching it, watching reviews, comparing models, imagining how amazing it will be. Your brain begins constructing a future version of yourself, a smarter you, a more productive you, a happier you. And every step of this process releases dopamine, not because you own the item, but because your brain expects the reward. Then comes the biggest dopamine spike of all. The moment you click, "Buy now." But something strange happens after that. Once the purchase is made, the dopamine engine shuts down. Now you're no longer chasing the reward, you already have it. And the brain quickly adapts. The exciting new object becomes normal. This phenomenon is called hedonic adaptation, the psychological tendency to return to a baseline level of happiness, which is why the brain quietly starts searching for the next dopamine hit, the next thing to want. And just like that, the cycle begins again. But here's where this gets dangerous. Because the modern economy is designed to exploit this dopamine loop. Companies don't just sell products, they sell anticipation. Think about how products are launched today. Teasers, leaks, rumors. Then the announcement event. Then the pre-order. Then the countdown. Every stage is engineered to stretch the anticipation, because anticipation means dopamine. This is why scrolling through online stores can feel addictive. Even if you never buy anything, your brain isn't chasing products. It's chasing the feeling of wanting something. And this doesn't just affect consumers. It affects investors too, because the stock market has its own version of the dopamine trap. It's called speculation. When investors buy exciting stories, revolutionary technologies, or the next big trend, they're often not buying reality. They're buying anticipation, the possibility of massive gains, the thrill of getting in early, the excitement of being right. But once the future arrives, the dopamine fades, and the brain starts searching again for the next exciting opportunity. This is why markets move in bubbles. Because humans are wired to chase possibility, not stability. But the most successful investors understand something different. Wealth is rarely exciting. In fact, the strategies that build the most wealth are often boring. Long-term investing, consistency, patience. These don't trigger dopamine spikes, but they compound quietly over time, which leads to a powerful mental model. If something feels exciting, it's probably short-term. If something feels boring, it might be profitable. Because the dopamine trap convinces us to chase the thrill of buying, instead of the quiet power of owning. And in markets, just like in shopping, the people who control their impulses often control the wealth. So the next time you feel that urge to buy something, pause. Ask yourself one question. Is this value or just dopamine? Because mastering money starts with mastering your mind.